Folks, welcome to Linden and welcome to our broadcast. We're back on the ground at this end, and today we spoke with a number of representatives of the region and a number of residents as well on a whole range of issues. Smash that emoji button, share the broadcast, and partner with us as well. Folks, welcome back to the mining town. Folks, it's beautiful on the ground here. It was very hot today, like in lots of other places. Yep. You're going to want to pull that popcorn, folks. You're going to want to pick up your Cokes. Come closer to your television, your smart devices. We are on, folks. Smash that emoji button. Come on, folks. Come on. Don't get out here looking 10. We're in the mining town. We're in born town. Folks, as I said, we spoke with a number of residents. We spoke with a number of representatives here on the ground in the mining town. Folks, my Lord, since them boys come in 2020, August 2nd, you know it's trouble. It's trouble. And we would have hoped they would have been sitting down with the folks on the ground here and trying to move the development of the nation forward. But that's not what we're seeing. That is not what we're seeing. Folks, we're here with the regional chairman in Block 22. Linden, of course, we're still here. Regional chairman, tell us what's happening here on the ground.
Well, thank you, Sherrod. And I'm happy to have you in Linden to highlight many of the issues that oftentimes get swept under the rug. You know, we live here in a hilly sand and clay region. Region 10 is a hilly sand and clay region, and we thought that when the Ministry of Public Works, who knows better, especially when they bring their engineers, that they would have advised the minister accordingly, but there seems to be some form of collusion with the policymakers and the technical people, because I cannot see engineers coming on the ground in an area like this, seeing that there's evidence of erosion and proceeds to construct a road without putting in the requisite drainage system, the curb walls, etc. It tells you what will happen when the rainy season comes. And so I'm happy to stand here with the residents of Block 22. This has nothing outside of the representation for the roads that I will speak to shortly. This protest action against what is happening here, against incompetence, is a direct response from the people. And so we came out and supported the people of Kansas City. The government is on record already as saying that they will not engage the elected officials in the region. They're still licking their wounds from the democratic blow that they would have received from the local government elections. And so they don't want to deal with the elected officials. They said they're going to deal with the residents. Well, the residents stood up and said that they do not want substandard work in their community. Correct. Okay, in fact, over the past couple of years, from 2020 October to now, we have been witnessing, and I just jot down some notes here that I want to really highlight.
Go right ahead.
You know, some basic things that we would have said to the government of the day, and to even when we're consulting with the residents. But under the People's Progressive Party and under the Public Works, it seems that construction and destruction go hand in hand.
But Deron, before you get there, one of the things I love about the region is that you all had a policy where infrastructure is concerned.
Yes, so one of the first policy that we would have taken in 2020 October, the statutory meeting, is that one, when you're doing and constructing roads in the region, you must put in the requisite drainage system. We prefer you budget for the drainage first, and then the roads will come after and seal the road, just like what is being done in Pratoville too. It's not that these folks don't understand the approach or the concept. It's just that when it comes to certain communities that do not support them, they believe that they can throw anything at the people. And Region 10 seems to have become a dumping ground for nonsense. And so I want the people of Icewater Road to know that at the RDC level, there are 5 critical steps that we have outlined as to how projects should be executed. And I will read them for you. 1, the 5 stages to the implementation and the crafting of our policies, etc., that the steps that they're supposed to go through. 1, as policymakers, we identify issues. So we come to the ground. The budget flows from consultation we have with our people on the ground. So we walked this very area in 2021, 2022, and we listened to the concerns of the people. And so we documented the issues that they would have raised. The second step is that we formulated the policy and we formulated why Ice Water Road should form part of the budget. Whether they did it in 2022, 2023, the groundwork started at the level of the RDC, where councillors came, documented the concerns and the issues raised, whether it's the lights, roads, whatever, bridges, and it formed part of our budget.
Doesn't sound to me like you all are anti-development at all.
Well, the only people who believe that when you do sensible things, that it is anti-development is the People's Progressive Party.
Exactly.
The third step is we adopt it, we endorse it, we sign on to it, we vote that it should form part of the priority roads for the regions to be executed in the year's budget. The next step, if you look on the document, and I know you can't see it, but I'll ask Sharon to read with me. What is here? It says what?
Yeah.
Consultation with various stakeholders. Now I'm engaging with the residents and I'm asking them if the ministry ever came in here and consulted with them. And the answer is a big fat no. So they never consulted with the people. They just came and started breaking up, pushing through the machinery, laying steel that is not the required, the stuff that is required there, and trying to cut corners. And so I'm sure you will see the bulging that has occurred even in Linden here, where a road that we boasted about, where the minister boasted about at Casarina Drive, 50-something million, check the state of the road. Bulging. So Region 10, we are now experiencing bulging as well.
Correct.
Right? And that happened days after the road was completed. And so I commend the people of Ice Water Road for standing up. This is a 71 million contract. You might as well flag it now and get it right now, because when they finish spending the 71 million here, you know when again you're getting back a road.
But interestingly, we heard that even though concerns were raised here about this road, that the minister came, Bishop One Edger, and instead of talking to the people, police were stationed here to make sure the road project goes forward in its current condition.
In the usual domination and control fashion, that is what, has been happening in the Upper Demerara Berbice region. They do not consult, they do not take advice. In fact, rather than listen to the residents, they have a bunch of people who can't recover from a democratic blow following them from the local government elections all along. In fact, one of them was there signing a contract. So this seems to be a reward for friends, family, and favorites who did not perform well in the local government elections, but as the recording indicated and highlighted, they now have to find a way to pay many of the people who they promise jobs and whatever. And so they're using it as a way to siphon off monies to their friends, families, and favorites. I want the people of Region 10 to know that on the 5th of August 2022, this is the submission that was made to the Public Works Ministry. And it highlights all of the roads where we made representation as a council for those roads to be done on the urban development. The ministry receives billions of dollars of taxpayers' money to do roads under their work program. But Ejel doesn't live in Linden. He doesn't know the names of these roads. He doesn't interact with the communities. He had to rely on a competent team of policymakers and leaders. And we humbly, because we want development in the region, but for it to be done at a high standard, at a high level, we ensure that we submitted the list of roads to his ministry. And it was signed off by the Chief Roads and Bridge Officer, Ron Rahaman, and it was also signed off by his Program Manager for Roads and Bridges, Denita Crandon. And it lists clearly all of the roads that should be executed in Region 10.
Black and white.
At Kokwani, at Aichuni, on Mackenzie, at Wismar, in Amelia's Ward, in Wizrock, Block 22. All of the roads are listed here. What he will attempt to do is to come and play politics by installing some of his candidates and the other representatives that fall under his belt to make it appear that these submissions were, pulled from the sky, or came from his affiliates' submission. And I'm saying to you that it flowed from the very residents here to the RDC. It was well documented, and that is why the people are standing their ground here today, because they want the road in Icewater Road to look just like the road in Poireauville too, with nice sealed drains and with lovely, you know, with a smooth pathway. And so we call on them to not be anti-development, to give support to the people, to the residents who are affected. This woman has been living here for some amount of years. And she said when the first road was being done, they turned a blind eye and took the word of the ministry at the then time that, you know, we can come back and do drains and we can come back and do curb wall. And it never happened. And so they are standing their grounds now, and we will support them as their elected officials.
All right, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Thank you.
Yeah.
Folks, we are privileged to be here in Linden, still here, and we have the deputy mayor with us. We're at block 22. This is the Ice Creek Water Road.
Icy Road.
Icy Road,
Correct,
for the
yes.
short of it.
Yes.
Tell us a bit about what's happening here with this construction work on the road here.
Thanks for having me today, Sherrod. I'm privileged.
Always a privilege.
I'm happy to be here. I want to start by what series of events that happened. As elected officials, we got called from the residents on substantive work being done on the Icy Road, caused us to be engaged with the residents. Afterwards, we got here, we noticed a lot of, most of the works have not been done, substantive works been done to the road. So furthermore, we engaged with the contractor, myself, the constituency candidate, Mr. Kwesi Parks, and we got a little pushback, caused us to stop the work, caused the minister to be here. I want to address something first about the minister saying that the council is anti-development. That is not true. We're not anti-development. We came here just because we wanted the road to be done properly. We don't have an issue with the road done. I want to put that into context that we don't have a problem with the road to be done.
And this government has been saying to communities, if you find the work is not being done to a particular standard, you have a right to stop it.
Yes, yes. So that is what we did. We believe in people over politics. If we wanted to gain political mileage on an issue like this, we would have waited until the road has finished, because we know the work they'll be doing on this road. In 2 months' time, this road will be deteriorated. So we didn't want to play politics. What politics is, we would have gained more political mileage having this road done in substantive work. We want to stop what is to come. If you recall, a couple months back, we had an issue in Poker Street where they obstruct or the natural vegetation that you see was happening right now. They brought the heavy machinery and obstruct the natural vegetation, caused for a disaster happening in Poker Street area. We wanted to stop that before it happened. We asked for the contract to have simple things like curb walls, shoulders to the road. If you notice, the road doesn't have no shoulders. If you know no shoulders, they started the work. This is where we stopped it. We stopped it before it. When we stopped it, no shoulder was done. We stopped it. Now we're having shoulders.
And in the absence of all of that, what might happen?
Without the shoulders, you find water is going to go into people's land.
I see. Yeah.
Causing erosion. We wanted to stop that. Now we have shoulders. Now they start putting shoulders. When when the community start to activate the shoulders, they started to now put shoulders. We welcome the shoulder, but they still have some other works that we need to do. We need to have curb walls to stop massive erosion, because massive erosion is going to come. We don't want the same thing happen, like I told you before, what happened in Poker Street, to happen again. We had a number of serious events, a number of things happen out here, where pastor and the constituency candidate going to speak about it, where they came in, where the contractor came in, they damaged the light pole. No one wants to talk to the residents. They were disrespected to the residents. They damaged the water line for the residents. They didn't want to engage the residents. The minister came, was disrespectful to the residents. He walked with people from outside the area instead of calling everyone that lived directly in the area that is affected. He rather go to the other communities and bring the their friends, family, and favorites to for a photo op. We don't want a photo op. These are the residents out here. We came with the residents out here. I want to thank because they sent the police officer. I want to also thank the police officer understanding the community, because they were asked the phone call they got the residents were hooligans. That is not true. All the residents was asking for is for the road to be properly done. We're not anti-development. We believe as elected officials, we believe in people over politics. We're not dealing, I believe at the local level, we don't deal with parts, we deal with people. We were called by the people to represent the people. And that is what led us out here. I'm gonna let the candidate say some words in the matter. And Sherrod, thanks for having you. Thanks to join the fight with us. It's not over as yet. I want to give you an update. They now put in the shoulders to the road after we finish have the conversation. We still await the scope of work, because they said due to the added works, they had to revise the work that was told by the engineer. They have a revised bill, but they didn't want the job to stop. So we're waiting on the new revised bill. Because the previous bill have $73 million for this contract. So we're waiting on the revised bill to see where the shoulder is and the proper steel work and the proper work to be done. Because before they had the proper steel allocated for this job. So once again, any other question? And here we have passed out here. We have in the regional chairman. And again, I want to say something. These roads, we made representation on the road. The regional chairman, we deal with the people on an everyday basis. All these roads, we walk each one of the communities, and we make representation for these roads that is being done now. So that is not true. We do not want these roads to be done. We are the ones that first made the representation. Regional chairman from since 2 years back walked every community, asking persons what are affecting them. This is one of the road was highlighted, like many other roads.
And then found its way into the budget.
Found its way. So we the one made the representation. That is not true. Again, when the minister say we're anti-development, that is not true. That is totally wrong. When we are the one made the representation for these roads to be done. Yeah. Now you're doing the roads, we are saying do it properly, just like the roads you do in Region 3 and you do in other regions. We deserve better. You and I went to Washington when I raised the concern. Region 10 is the largest constituency of Afro-Guyanese, and we've been facing the blunt for a while now by this administration. If you check and see, no transformational work was done for this region for the past 3 years. Let's not talk about the synthetic track that was conceptualized by the coalition. I heard you went to Bamia School earlier.
Yeah.
Bamia School earlier. You see what is done at Bamia School. We are long awaiting on that project, just like the bridge. We're long awaiting. Answer this question. I want to ask anyone on the government side, what developmental project or transformational project this government has done for Region 10. These roads you're doing are substantial, and that is where we stop. And these are not transformative development projects. And I hope the regional chairman will come and he will address these other matters. Thanks again. Thanks for joining the fight, Sherrod. You're always with us.
Thanks for your kind words. Folks with the regional chairman, Mr. Darren Adams. A couple of months ago, we met and we spoke about what was happening here. Now we're back for an update. Tell us a little bit of what's going on here on the ground, Bobby.
Well, thank you, Sherrod. Thanks for coming to Linden.
Good to be back.
It's a pleasure to have you here. Well, the Bamia Primary School has become famous, and it reminds us of the famous phrase that we all know, 1-1 Dirty Bill Dam. Apparently, this is what has been happening here with the Bamia Primary School. A project that should have been handed over to the benefit of the people of Amelia's ward and the wider Bamia community for those students who, were going to be enjoying this catchment area here. Comfort, easy access in terms of to the school, reduced transportation costs, etc. When we should have been cutting the ribbon. As you can see in the background, we have not even yet seen the roof of the building put in place. And so this is a concern for us. We have been speaking about this project from the very first day. We highlighted one of the concerns was the inexperience nature of the folks who were awarded the project, the contractor. And I think safely we can say now, and the entire Region 10 and the people of Guyana can comfortably say now that we were right, that 2 years after, we are no closer to seeing this school being handed over. The contractor this year would have received a sum of $268 million dollars, and still has failed to meet the deadline. And that has now forced the elected officials into a position where, because we do not want to be accused of sending back millions of dollars from this region, the REO, Mr. Dwight John, who is the executing officer for the region, we were forced to, of course, write the Ministry of Finance asking for inclusion projects, several inclusion projects to now become the order of the day, so that we do not, and we are not accused of sending back money. So our councillors were on the ground. They would have been visiting several schools across the region at Kokwani, Aichuni, and several schools at Linden. And so close to $102 million will now have to be split across those schools that I just mentioned: New Silver City Secondary, Mackenzie High, Linden Foundation, Amelia's Ward Primary, so that the monies that was allocated for this Bamia primary school can be spent out before the 31st of December, or at least projects awarded, so that they can become maybe a rollover project to the benefit of the people of Linden and Region 10.
Mr. Chairman, you mentioned something that is very important, that there was lots of doubts on this contract when it was first awarded. I mean, there was lots of pushback from the folks behind this contract, the contractors. We know them as entertainers, and we like them, them in that realm. But I think nobody can say that they aren't out of the depths on this one. This contract, it's over its allocated time for completion by now, and every consideration and concern the public has had on this contract has come to fruition, sadly. And this is where we are. I'm tempted to ask whether the public was justified in some of those concerns.
Of course. And that is where consultation is important, and why it is important. We would have seen, as you said, these persons they deliver better in entertainment. And so when we heard of a contract of this magnitude being awarded to them, despite we flagged it and we were concerned, we said, you know what, let's give them an opportunity. But let's put the safety measures in place to ensure that it becomes a reality. And so we proposed that, one, we have meeting once monthly, that they update the committee, the works committee and the education committee on the progress of the work. I can say to you that over the past 2 years, if they have met on 5 occasions, that would be a lot, because they have not been completing reports, they have not been meeting regularly. And so we are now more concerned, because what you will find happening now, if it isn't already, and I think many of it has been flagged, is that the integrity of this project comes into question. You will find, in an attempt to expedite and to save face, that the contractors you will find them cutting corners. And so what we propose as a council is that independent engineers be brought in to ensure that the equipment that is being placed here, whether the steel, whatever it is, that it is what is required and what was recommended in the scope of works. So, of course, we're concerned. I think they should continue in entertainment. I think they do a fantastic job in entertainment, but I will not recommend that they go this route again in the future.
Great. And one of the things we saw quite recently is the Attorney General saying that contractors who don't do a good work, they are penalized. I hope we don't have to go to that.
Well, I understand, but it's alleged too that is just a bluff for the cameras, because we heard of that statement being made by a particular minister in the infrastructure sector, but soon as the cameras are shut off, people from right within the Public Works Ministry say, the very person turns back and say, look, I'll continue with your work, don't worry about that. So
As it were.
For PR and for window dressing, many times you will see them standing from the camera and make it appear as though they're penalizing the contractor or they're going to come down hard on the contractor or whatever. I'll say to you that if you do an investigation, you will see that several of the same people who defaulted in the past are still receiving contracts today. And that goes against the backdrop. And you know the famous saying, it's friends, families, and favorites.
Yeah. You know, one of the things I wanted to pick the regional chairman's brain on is the engagement of citizens in the region and the engagement of the council.
Yeah.
This is an elected council. It would be good for a government to engage with them in terms of how do you move the region forward. We've learned that hasn't been happening here. Instead, the government is engaging persons who would have ran for council but didn't get elected. Non-elected members. Non-elected persons, rather.
So, very important point, and we've been experiencing, and it has intensified since the local government election. The budget, for example, the 2024 budget and all the previous budget, the budget flows from the consultation you would have with your constituents on the ground. So councillors are mandated to go into their respective constituency. They listen to the concerns of the residents. They document it in the order of priority, and it forms part of the budget. What we have seen happening since 2023, after the local government, because the People's Progressive Party would have received a democratic blow. They lost all the constituency seats at Linden. They barely scraped an additional PR seat because and that was as a result of the massive drive for voter turnout and the investment, the billions of dollars that they would have invested, yet people rejected them. And so what they're attempting to do and what they're actually doing is bypassing the elected component of the council, and they are using political people to engage. And if you look at the awarding of the recent contracts, while we welcome the recent road projects and so on, which flowed from submissions that we made at the RDC, and we have the documents to show, if you look at who are the persons signing those contracts, there are even candidates who were on the local government elections for the People's Progressive Party.
Wow, so this is the candidate getting the brown bags.
Yes, you have recordings of one candidate sending around saying that she was told to get her 25 people who worked on E-Day so that they can be paid from cash grant money that is supposed to be going to genuine farmers, genuine business people who have all of the documents. They're compliant at NIS, they have the compliance at GRA, they have the income and expenditure statements, yet they are being bypassed. And monies that are supposed to be going to those genuine business people are finding its way into persons who worked in the local government elections on behalf of that party. And because, of course, they made a massive investment, this is them now getting their paper bags, as you said, their returns.
A very, very sad development
Very
here.
sad.
Finally, on the issue of BAMI school, I may have missed it, but when can Lindeners expect to have access to the school?
Well,
as a finished product,
as I would have opened my presentation with here, we believe in the famous phrase, one dirty bill dam. I want the people of Linden and Region 10 and the country on a whole to know that we welcome this school. This is not a concept that was conceptualized just in 2021 or 2022. This is a project that was conceptualized under the previous government, the APNU AFC, and that is why we hold it so dearly to our heart. This is a coalition-controlled region. And if you look across, all of the other projects that were conceptualized during that period have been completed while a competent government was in place. If you look across there, you will see the Bamia Nursery School. If you look across, just behind this building, you will see the Bamia Health Center. All of those projects were concepts of the APNU AFC. The Bamia Primary School was one such project as well. However, there was an issue at the consultancy stage when it was awarded first to ENA. There was an objection, and so there was a bit of delay, and so it had to be retendered. That is the information that we have within the RDC. But if you look at the budget documents from 2017, 2018, when all of this development was happening in Linden, the synthetic track, the upgrading of the water sector, the farm to market road from Millie's out to the Berbice River, where 300 million was invested, the empowering of the business community and the farmers through Linden Enterprise Network, where today sits over 300 million. You will see that all of those projects were concepts of the coalition government. And so I cannot go into don't care mood because we want this project. We fought for it. We ensured that it was properly justified, and that is why it received the blessing. It's a rollover now to this government. And when one government does something good, it is the responsible nature of any other administration to ensure that they pick up the mantle and continue. Not to have a situation where, like what happened with the 5Bs program, where all the buses were left to deteriorate in Bartica, in Linden, where the engine is left and the students are not benefiting from it. Where the hot meal program that they inherited, they suspended it, give it a friend, and now the children are complaining of the meals that they are receiving. The boats left in the sun, no repairs, the engine not repaired, that the people in the Berbice River are now complaining that of the same issues that we fix, we're back at square one. Kind of like the ban that I think that came out from Trinidad, square one.
Like Irfan and Mara last weekend, all the issues are still.
You know, right now we're dealing with a situation where under the AP and UAFC, we ensure that ICT connectivity was ran across the Berbice River from all of the villages there. Weruni, Kimbia, Gateway, Develd, all of those communities you could have touched on and engage and check on your WhatsApp. In fact, I have a photo where in 2019, Bishop Wane Ejel was in the Berbice River and he was using the internet connectivity provided by the coalition. Ask yourself, why today those services have deteriorated and the people in the Berbice River are no closer now to having direct connect to their elected officials here in the seat of government.
You know, on the internet connectivity used by the former opposition member, that's why the mantra of the coalition was the good life.
Yes, definitely.
Let's look at another issue.
Yeah.
Thanks. Folks, with the regional chairman, Mr. Darren Adams, a couple of months ago, we met and we spoke about what was happening here. Now we're back for an update. Tell us a little bit of what's going on here on the ground, Bobby.
Well, thank you, Sherrod. Thanks for coming to Linden.
Good to be back.
It's a pleasure to have you here. Well, the Bamia Primary School has become famous, and it reminds us of the famous phrase that we all know, 1-1 Dotty Bill Dam. Apparently, this is what has been happening here with the Bamia Primary School. A project that should have been handed over to the benefit of the people of Amelia's ward. And
I just want to say that I am really not satisfied with this whole project that is going on in Canvas City. One of the things is the contractors that came into Canvas City that did not notify no member of the community. They just came to Canvas City and start grading. From that, they came and they damaged our pipes as residents of Canvas City. Most of the houses had no water for 2 weeks straight. Well, mines were longer. I had no water for 3 weeks. They didn't come to us. They didn't say anything to us. When I approached them, it was most disrespectful. I had to go and take money and buy my pipe to replace my pipe because when I get onto GWI says the contractor responsible because they came and they cover all the pipes. I took my money, I purchased my pipe, and they promised to refund me my money. That was a hell and high water. The contract disrespectfully told me that they don't have money and let me know that the pipe that I put down, I have to replace it again because he brought a man to my home to let me know that the pipe that was run, he assumed that I run the pipe by myself. It's GWI come and run my pipe after I bought back my pipes. Now the contractor came at me. This is how disrespectful they are to residents. Bring one of his workers to said, I am bringing you to her to let her know the pipe that she paid the man to put down, she got to move it again because I have work to do. I called on the water authority and I gave him the report. The water authority said to me, tell the contractor to get on to them because that is disrespect. They are very disrespectful to residents. After the water problem, they came, they threw down a lantern post just in front of my residence, all the electrical wire on my shop and in my walkway. This situation is really terrible for us as residents. We live here all the years. And we see that this project that they're doing here, it's not being done properly. There is no drain, there is no shoulder, to the two sides of the road, as they say they're catering for curb walls. We're not satisfied with that because I am a resident of Canvas City and I'm suffering because of this for 12 long years. The water from the drain is going on the road in front of my residence. School children are affected every day for 12 long years. Teachers has to be jumping over that dirty water every morning. The road users, the taxi driver, as they drive on the road, the water pitches on people that walk the road, pedestrians, and go into my business place. I had to close it down. Because of this situation with this road, 1 week straight, I could not have gone to work because no water. They ain't even had, I went till to where they were and I said, look, in your place have water. I have none. I need water. Because I make demands to get back my pipe, I am the worst thing. They start giving me attitude. Yesterday morning, to be exact, the contractor hired a driver to bring some steel on site. The truck came down here, put off the steel. Look, the steel is there. Look the distance. When the driver left this site, he drove from here straight to the front of the Canvas City Road with the truck boom up. Hit down the lantern post, down across the road. School children had to run. School children had to run. Hit. Look, this paper that I have in my hands here is from another pastor. This is Pastor Marlene Dowdin of 479 Canvas City, and her number is 444-8282. She's a pensioner. She cannot walk, or else she would have been at this meeting. She asked me to show you guys this. In her house yesterday, all her bulbs were catch a fire. Chiffon catch a fire. My microwave, after the post fell, my microwave was on fire. Nobody came to us. The contractor, when I asked our deputy to say something to him because he's behaving as a bully, like he owned Canvas City. When the deputy told him about my stuff, he just watched the deputy and he walked away, never said a word to us. Now, there are things that damage because of this lantern post that he hit down on the road, and there is no satisfaction. This road, we need a drain for this road because this is a hilly sand and clay area. If there was proper drainage, I would have never been suffering as a resident of Canvas City for 12 long years. The Siram brother came to Canvas City since 2002 and put a coker in front of a private resident, that is my resident. So when rain fall, because there's no proper drainage, all the water, the dirty water that came all the way from Block 22 to Canvas City, it overthrow in my yard and in front of my premises. So now it's going on the road. So I know why I am out here. I know why I'm out here. I am not the only one suffering from this. The entire community, school children, teachers. I'm glad if you show up here on Monday morning to see how these beautiful teachers in the shoe have to be skipping and looking to spot to walk to get to school because of the drainage problem. It's not that we don't want development in our community, and this is not politics. For me, I am not a politician. I am for right, because till now, for 12 years, I'm suffering and nobody is coming to give us an assistance. And if this road is going to be done, it must be done properly. We are demanding our drains and everything that is on that paper concerning this road. Thank you very much.
I'm a pensioner as well. Now, the concern here is to get the road done properly. We need to have a drain because I'm living here for years and water does come across the creek then from creek and coming straight on the road. Right where I live and right behind this gentleman at the stand in front of me, if you look properly there, you can see the edge. When they came and bulldozed, gradeway, leave nothing. I spoke with the engineer yesterday that he was here, and he told me in no uncertain word that till next year before they do something like a cabal that could hold back this land. And that can't work. By the time next year, my house and everything will come right down on this road here. And that isn't going to be the right thing. So I'm asking for a road to be done properly so that we could get to enjoy ourselves right here. Now, the next thing that surprised me on Tuesday when the minister was here, the man came with a barrage of personnel, policemen and everything. At no time he never said, well, as he's here, let me get a chance to talk with the residents directly for himself. What is the problem and see what adjustment or we could do. The man never said that. As a minister and as a bishop, you surprised me a lot, really. Really surprising to me. It's a pity you couldn't go further there and see exactly what I'm talking about concerning my walkway and where I'm living and everything. It isn't nice. So I'm glad that the regional chairman and the deputy mayor and everybody come out and helping us to make sure we get a proper road and a curb wall, because if you look there, you could see how it's situated. Anything could happen there. The sun, nothing was there. Everything that was old in this land, they bulldoze. Right? So I was glad that I get the opportunity for talk on behalf of a resident in Campus City here. Thank you.
Folks, we are folks, thanks for joining us. And that's all we have for you this evening. We hope you took the opportunity to share the live. We hope you took the opportunity to smash that emoji button as well, folks. Some of the guys in the ground here giving us a shout out as they pass. We're just happy. We're just delighted, folks. And partner with us as well. You know, it's because of your love, your generosity, because of your support, we can do stuff like this and keep the broadcast going, folks. That's some of what's happening on the ground. You know, this administration still got some time to make things right. Still got some time. That's going to do it for us this evening, folks. That's our time, and that's our program from the Man in Town, folks. Have a fantastic weekend, and stay safe.